So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Doesn't that look great? A world of mystery to explore. But you're probably wondering when the game comes out, right? Well, there you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out this December for Xbox Game Pass and PC. But there is one more thing that Machine Games and Bethesda wanted to share with you about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The game's coming to PlayStation 5 in spring of 2025.
Man, what a stream that was yesterday. The news with Towerborn, Indiana Jones. It definitely wasn't what people were expecting, but it's a thing. And today I wanted to talk about it because now that I've had a bit more time to process it, I can see a lot of people on social media going out and saying that this lie and that lie, and I'm not going to be defending Phil here at all. No. That's not what's happening here. But I want to clear up a few misconceptions that's going around right now because despite the fact that there is some deceit going on, I think it's worth talking about them. But I did want to say a massive thank you to everyone who turned up to my stream yesterday. You know, we peaked at around 160. That's amazing. Haven't had those numbers in a long time. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much to all that turned up. And I appreciate all the gifted memberships and the super thanks and the super chats. Thanks so much. Without you guys, I couldn't do this. So I appreciate you a lot. But, you know, let's talk about Indiana Jones. It is coming to PS5. It is coming anywhere between 3 to 6 months of exclusivity over to PlayStation. That is probably before it even goes over to Game Pass Standard, right? So that's interesting. But at the same time, what does this all mean? And if we go back and look at the original clips that I played in the video, what does it actually mean? Was there lying? So I've got this tweet over here that I want to go through. And it's mainly from the Colt Eastwood, but I've highlighted this one in particular because there's some tweets below that I did want to go into and discuss. If we're looking at what Colt Eastwood says here, biggest fingers crossed behind the back, moment just 6 months ago, lol. Hope PlayStation fans have drama mine ready for first-person gameplay. I didn't even know what that word meant until yesterday. They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones, and he has been community noted, and rightfully so. And Tom says here, the statement was carefully worded, and a lot of Xbox fans at the time and now have chosen not to listen to the context properly. Phil was asked whether Starfield and Indiana Jones were part of the first 4 games going to PS5. Not whether they'd ever come to PS5. And that's a good point because that's what was asked. If we listen to it again.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Again, you can see that the question that was asked was very, very specific. It was, are they part of the 4? Now, that's not my issue with this whole thing, right? My issue with this whole thing is this part here. He also said that people shouldn't expect other titles to go over and that they want many exclusives. It was deceptive corporate speak. They didn't just decide to move a game like Indiana Jones to PS5. They would have had PS5 in development at the time of the interview. That's the point. So when he turned around and said, no, it's not Indiana Jones, it's not Starfield, those games were probably in development as that time. We've got Gaz over here. God, this mouse is going to be the death of me. This is the problem with him trying to finesse and rely on specifics. Just 4 games, nothing more, for now. That doesn't mean that more can't come. Knowing full well that's a lie. And that's the problem, right? That's it right there. And that's what people should have a problem with. Not this. Because he didn't lie. But it's the fact that he knowingly finessed the words, finessed the questions in a way where it would be both truthful and deceitful at the same time. And then even this statement, it's all buying time to just damage control preemptively. The man knew these games, along with Hellblade 2 and Starfield, are being worked on for PS5. And from what I've heard, and Risk It already made this announcement ages ago, Hellblade 2 is, despite the fact it's profitable, Hellblade 2 has made over $3 million in profit, is in development for the PS5. These carefully worded statements are hollow, and the reactions prove that. Now, you can argue that, Hellblade 2 was a legacy title, and they said they're not going to hold back any legacy franchise from the list, but that would basically mean, outside of Starfield, technically, everything should go, and Indiana Jones wouldn't be part of that legacy, right? Elder Scrolls 6, all of it, Fallout 5, they will all be ported over at some point. They might come to Xbox first, but 6 months to a year later, they will be ported over to PlayStation, or eventually, who knows, maybe even day and date. Probably not, but I'm just being thinking. That's the issue that people are having right now. And I think that's where the focus should be. The fact that it was very, very deceitful at the time because they fully well knew that these games were in development. This is not a signaling of things to come for Xbox, was said right after. I actually watched a clip. I didn't actually hear that. Yeah, exactly. Also, we're not a third-party publisher. That was ages ago. And where Game Pass exists, that was ages ago. Things have changed since then, so I don't care about that at all. But this statement is the one that's basically floating around right now. And though he technically was telling the truth, it was very, very deceitful. And that's the issue. How do we really go about this? Even Talborn being announced, it's an Xbox game, and it's been, pushed on Xbox as an Xbox game. Everywhere you look at it, Xbox was the main platform. And that's going to Steam first when a preview exists, preview mode exists for Xbox. Why isn't it landing on Xbox preview same time? But it's not. And so a lot of people are disgruntled by this. They're upset by this. They feel betrayed by Xbox and, Phil Spencer. Satya Nadella is pretty much now, in my opinion, full well running the show. I don't see anything else can be said about this. But I think the biggest issue here for me isn't the fact that Indiana Jones is being, ported to the PS5. That's not the biggest issue for me. My biggest issue is that they've pretty much not even wanted to give Xbox a chance to see how Indiana Jones would do on Xbox, to see if people, and PC, to see if the ecosystem could sustain them. They've openly come out and said that the ecosystem cannot sustain them for a game like Indiana Jones, which probably has a really, really horrendous deal with Disney. Think Spider-Man and probably somewhere almost there. And so they need the additional support from another platform like PlayStation in order to make sure that they can meet the quota of sales and royalties paid to Disney for making that game. Hence why it's probably coming 6 months later. But again, this all stems back to the fact that at the February video announcement, the interview that they had, the business update, when they were asked, is Starfield and Indiana Jones part of 4? When they said no, they could have been fully openly transparent and said they are not part of this 4, but they are in development. And when they turned around and said, this is just 4 games and nothing else, don't expect anything else, How do you not expect anything else when you're already making these games? These games don't just magically appear, or, ports aren't made overnight. They take, up to a year, maybe longer, to actually be made. Indiana Jones is a massive game, and from the people that I've heard that have actually played it, no details really given to me, but the scope and the scale of the game is huge. So a game like that isn't going to take 2 weeks to port over. So these games would have been in development at the time. So even when that statement was being given, it was complete deceitful. And this will have damaged Phil's reputation. Anything he says now, coming out, won't be taken seriously. I expect them to go radio silent for a little while. But here's the bigger thing, right? As we know, you can expect more games to actually turn up, right? You can expect more games to turn up, and they probably will do. But now when Phil Spencer comes out, how can you take anything he says seriously? There's always going to be a secret agenda under everything he says. And, some fans are still defending Xbox and defending Phil Spencer and defending Satya Nadella. And, good for you. I'm not in the business to be lied to, and I will call out bullshit when I see bullshit. And I do feel Xbox fans are being hard done by. They were promised exclusives, and hopefully Starfield will remain. But from everything I've heard, there is a version of it in development. So it may not be coming this year, but maybe next year. It depends, because as long as it's making money, it seems, it won't go to another platform. It's only those games that have completely dried down and gone stale and not really getting the benefit. But someone in my chat yesterday asked me, is there another game coming this week? Is there another announcement? I said no, but there will be in the next few months. This morning I heard something completely different. Now, I did try to get this video out earlier. I couldn't. And so I'm going to basically just say the names of the games that I've personally heard are in development and will at some point be making the transfer. Those games, as you're aware, are Indiana Jones. And for those that don't know, I actually broke Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation before anyone else on my Discord, and it was there way before anyone actually broke it on Twitter that the rumor mill came out, because I didn't really want to talk about it. It wasn't my place, and the person that told me not to. But a lot of this now is open in the air. Hellblade 2, Risket broke this information quite some time ago. He wasn't lying. It is in build, and it is there. Even though it made 3 million profit, that is one of the ones that is apparently in development. Forza Horizon 5 is a live service game, and that one apparently is also in development, and you may hear about that within the 3 days of Gamescom. If not, you'll probably hear about that in the coming months. Flight Simulator is another one that's been floating around that I've been spoken about that could actually potentially be. They haven't confirmed this development, but I've been told that it basically is one that should be going. Now, obviously, everything can change, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not being hypocritical about this, because I've been moaning about this for quite some time myself with other people talking about games going away. So this is pure hypocrisy on my part, because I'm not going to reveal my source on who told me this information for obvious reasons. So feel free to take this information as you will. But Indiana Jones, I did know about for a little while. Like I said, I can't really talk about it. And even in the stream before, when I said I know what game it is that's going, I just can't tell you. Because they asked me not to say anything. It was only because people was about to reveal it that I revealed it in my Discord, and my Discord only. But yeah, so Hellblade and Forza for sure are on the table, in development. Flight Sim and Gears Anniversary are being looked at. So yeah, I mean, that information may come out within the next 3 days. I don't think Hellblade will be talked about in the next 3 days, even though it was a successful project. And I'm really happy that Hellblade was a successful project, because it just goes to show that the budget of that game was really small, and it didn't need to sell the quadrillions that people, development studios do need to sell in order to make a profit. And having made 3 million profit is still good profit. So that's a successful game. But that is another one that now kind of has come, it's done what it needs to do, and then because its original was on PlayStation, that's, I guess, part of the reason why that one is going to go. But Forza Horizon is the one that a lot of you are questioning, and unfortunately, from everything I'm hearing, it's in development. So it is what it is. But the one thing that you can at least take for solace is that Xbox gamers will get the content on Game Pass if you're a Game Pass subscriber, and that's, you get it day one. Everything that's coming from Microsoft, you will get day one. I don't believe that the games going from Xbox to PlayStation is going to slow down. I think they're only going to get more and more as they make more and more money. The suits only care about money, and it looks like all the ones that are kind of defending Xbox for what they're doing right now only care about Microsoft making more money. I guess that does indirectly tie to us getting more games on Game Pass. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. But at least you know that Hellblade was successful and it did make profit, and they did make their return of interest and then some. So for all the naysayers out there saying that Hellblade was a flop, if that was a flop, then that means pretty much all their other slops were a flop as well. But let me know what you think. I mean, how do you feel about Phil and his statement? It was very carefully worded, very carefully articulated to be able to say, I didn't say this specifically. I just said this. But yes, I knew it was in development, but I didn't follow up with anything else. And, well, there wasn't a follow-up question, yada, yada, yada. So at that point in time, though he was technically being truthful, the deceit that was happening there and then was astronomical. The poker face that was being played, because there's no way that these games were not in development at the time. It's just no way. We're talking less than 6 months ago. No way. You don't port a game that with that little time. So take it as you will. What does this mean for Xbox? We'll soon find out. I mean, we know that there's a new console coming. We know that there's a new handheld coming. I think the handheld is going to pave the way for Xbox. Honestly, going forward, I think that's going to be the generational leap that no one's ever seen. And I think that, what we were talking about yesterday, where there's going to be like a housing dock that will be like the main console. Think of it like the Switch, where you plug it in and it becomes a little bit more powerful. I think that it's basically going to put it on steroids. Think of it like a Asus ROG Ally that you can plug a 4090 into. I'm not saying that the new Xbox is going to have a 4090, but think of it like an eGPU. You plug the handheld device in, and the graphics card on the handheld turns off, and the actual graphics card built into the dock kicks in. I think that's going to be the way Microsoft push forward, because gaming on the go seems to be a lot more warranted now than ever before. But when it comes to games going to PlayStation, I don't think that this is the last. It's not. More will go. And if everything I'm hearing is true, Forza and Hellblade 2 and Flight Sim are the next 3 on the table. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. And hopefully I will see you tonight as we venture into a plane of pain over at Twitch, where we will be playtesting a game that came out that I don't even know we'll be able to matchmake with, considering everyone is now playing Wukong, right? Hopefully I'll see you there. Twitch.tv/TheChaosLounge streaming. Peace out and remain legend.